Hello y bienvenido. Welcome to this video about scope and sequence, which is meant to help you as a teacher who is new at implementing el Puente Bilingüe curriculum with your Montessori students. It is also meant for those schools who are considering using El Puente Bilingüe materials. Now, this series is actually going to be part of a group of over a dozen videos and documents that I am putting together for teachers who are new at implementing my El Puente Bilingüe Montessori Spanish language learning curriculum. So I want to put this video out there so that people who are looking into this curriculum can learn about it, but also for my new teachers. So without further ado, let's get started in talking about what my recommendations are for you and your students. So I want to give a little bit of an overview first, and I want to start by saying that as you implement this curriculum with your students, you have to remember that you are now in the lifelong language learner skills building zone. So I want you to remember that as you implement this curriculum, that these students are meant to build skills that they can take with them throughout their life, not just words that they are learning, but ways of thinking about the language, of analyzing the language. And you'll learn more about that as you go through this curriculum. And this curriculum is designed for Montessori students. So this means that you will be following the child, okay? You're going to have them, let them, encourage them to go at their pace, and you will be following them. So your students will not always be focused on the same things at the same time. Their learning will largely depend on their own desires, their background language, their background knowledge, a number of factors. So whether they are new to the world of Montessori, that's also a factor, because this curriculum does build upon skills that have already been developed in Montessori. So I just want you to remember that you're going to be following the child, and you are going to be allowing for plenty of practice time. So just because there are a few dozen lessons in the lesson guidebook doesn't mean that every period that you're with them, you're giving them a lesson. Sometimes your students will be working on a certain skill until they've mastered it, or until they're ready to move to something else, to a different facet. So you are allowing for plenty of practice time, which is built in with the mastery track activities. And please don't skip those, because those are definitely for all students, whether those students are needing more support or whether they need to be challenged. Those mastery track activities are for all. And if this all sounds a little complicated to you, don't worry. Just don't forget your tracker, okay? Because this does not have to be complicated at all. You can easily track the progress of your students, a lot of which will be done through observation, our lovely Montessori observations. So use those trackers and remember this advice, and you will approach this curriculum in the way that it's meant to be approached. So now let's get started with the specific recommendations about the curriculum. In the elementary curriculum, I have created two sets. We have the laying the groundwork set, and we have the who we are and what we do set. There is a third set, which is called early Spanish Montessori skills, or early Spanish skills for Montessori students. And that set actually can be used as either a differentiation tool for your elementary students, or it can be used for younger students. The other option is it can be used just as a light touch sort of Spanish program. So anyway, I don't want to go off on that too much because I want you to understand what the laying the groundwork and the who we are and what we do sets are all about. So the laying the groundwork set is for lower elementary students or upper elementary students. It covers a lot of ground, okay? But what it doesn't do is focus on verbs. So the verbs come in the who we are and what we do set, but that who we are and what we do set also encompasses the topics that are addressed in the laying the groundwork set. So let me just move forward here and you'll understand it a little bit better. So here we have a bullet point list of the topics that are covered in the laying the groundwork set. This is not the table of contents or the list of the lessons. It's just a list of topics that are covered. So if you need to pause this video and read through it, great. Just know that these are the things that are covered in that first set. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, remember that just because we have a certain number of lessons doesn't mean that you're whipping through each lesson every time you're with them. In fact, I would say that if you see your students once a week, you may or may not be giving them a new lesson every week. It depends on whether or not they are practicing their Spanish in their community, so in their regular classroom, which I address all of that in a different video that is in those support videos that I've made for, or am making for the teachers. But anyway, just know that you need to allow the students time to practice, and sometimes they might go off a little bit on a related tangent too. So we're following the child. Okay, so now if your students have already covered those topics that were in that previous slide, whether you have been using a Puente Bilingüe curriculum or not, you might be okay with just moving on with the who we are and what we do set for your upper elementary students. Okay, so if not, or if you feel like, well, maybe they've done a couple of those, maybe they've done the colors and the numbers, or whatever. If they've only done a little bit of it, you might want both sets for your upper elementary students. And for that reason, I have an integrated scope and sequence, which I will give people access to in PDF form. If you are taking this or watching this video as part of the video series that I've created, I'm supplying those PDFs for you. So anyway, so students who are in upper elementary, if they have not taken those earlier or seen those earlier concepts, I would recommend getting both of the sets for them, or just starting them off with the laying the groundwork set. And so here I have written out a bunch of different scenarios for you. I'd like you to pause this video and just read through these scenarios to see what fits your needs. So these are my recommendations for schools who are just starting out with their Spanish program. So whether you are a teacher who is new at implementing this curriculum, or whether you are a school considering this curriculum, I hope you've found this video helpful. For those new teachers, remember that I will be giving you this a copy of this scope and sequence, which actually it's also included in the Who We Are and What We Do guidebook. So it is in there too if you'd like to look for it at the back of the guidebook. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.